I think a commissioned position is very different than what we are discussing today. And I,
Representative Omar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Omar, if you happen to be a salesman in this world, and you can be selling cars, you could be selling siding, you could be selling just about anything, and you are paid on commission. So if you don't sell anything, you don't make anything. So you can have good years, you can have bad years. Probably really one of the best examples is a real estate agent.
Did you catch that? Ilhan Omar just asked Congress if pay cuts even exist. Yes, in the real world. Democrats really think every job is a government salary with lifetime benefits and zero accountability. Meanwhile, the Republican senator calmly explained how work actually works, and it completely broke the fantasy. If you're tired of politicians who've never signed a paycheck lecturing business owners, hit like, subscribe, and stay right here. Let's watch the full clip before I give you the full breakdown.
thank you, Chair. Representative O'Neal, I'm just wondering, are there, I was a union member for a long time, and I've also gotten an opportunity to work in the private sector. And I'm curious to know if you know of any employer that has a provision where they decrease pay for employees. I find that a little strange, and so I just wanted to know where that thought comes from, and if you know where an employee gets their pay decreased.
Representative O'Neal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I was a business owner. I recently sold my share, so I don't own it anymore, but there are plenty of businesses out there, especially those that depend on employees' productivity, like I was in the trades. So I owned a company that was a tile setting company, and if we didn't get out there and do the work, and if I didn't have highly productive employees, they were paid based on their productivity. So if they had issues, it is very possible that their pay would reflect those issues. If they were on probation for something, for some sort of violation, that could be coordinated with a pay reduction. It's something that businesses do all the time, and it could be the step before someone is actually fired. So it's an important thing, and it gets people's attention, when they see it in their paycheck that their performance does not meet the standard.
Representative Omar.
Hudson, I think, did you have something?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Hudson. Was there a question for Mr. Hudson?
No, I think he was saying that he wanted to add something, so I didn't know if he had something to add.
Mr. Hudson, is there a response to the question? Do you have a response to that question?
Madam Chair, yes,
Are you
ma'am.
saying that you aren't aware of any businesses that decrease pay? Because that was the question.
Madam Chair, I think what Chair O'Neal perhaps could be referring to, there are some instances where the pay structure is different. So for an example, she had indicated that she had come out of the towel industry. I'm not sure if these were commissioned employees who may have been on like an 80-20 split. In that instance, there is a situation where a pay might be reduced. Or if we have a supervisor who perhaps had a performance improvement issue or a behavioral concern, and we demoted this supervisor, that is an instance where pay might be decreased. But just an employee who has not been under some sort of performance improvement program, having their pay reduced, I've never heard of that.
Well, Mr. Hudson, I think Representative Neal knows exactly what she says. And I think we've had a little conversation back here when the question was asked. I know Representative Uglem, do you want to speak to that point?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Omar, if you happen to be a salesman in this world, and you can be selling cars, you could be selling siding, you could be selling just about anything, and you are paid on commission. So if you don't sell anything, you don't make anything. So you can have good years, you can have bad years. Probably really one of the best examples is a real estate agent. So it's the idea that people can make less money year to year, not to mention all the bonus situations that are out there in industry. It happens. It happens a lot. It doesn't necessarily happen, here in the public sector, but it's pervasive and very, very common in the private sector. Thank you.
And I'd like to add that in the private sector as well, people, if they are not performing at their job, get demoted, and with that demotion comes a pay cut. And that's not even related to being in a commission position, that's just in a regular position as well. Representative Omar.
I think a commissioned position is very different than what we are discussing today.
Representative Omar, I mentioned the fact that it's not just limited to commission. It's also for anybody that is demoted. So you can be in a regular job, not part of a commission situation, but if you're failing to perform, you'll get demoted, and then you get a pay cut with it. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. So.
All right, now let's talk about what just happened. Because this exchange was a public service announcement for why real-world experience matters in Congress. Ilhan Omar sits there with a straight face and says she finds it strange that an employer might reduce someone's pay. Strange? That's not strange. That's called a job. That's called performance. That's called accountability. And the fact she even had to ask that question tells you everything you need to know about how disconnected she is from normal working Americans. This is someone who has lived almost her entire adult life on taxpayer-funded paychecks, government benefits, and political activism. Of course, the idea of losing pay for bad performance sounds foreign to her. In her world, you fail upward, blame capitalism, and call it justice. And then comes Representative Barb O'Neal, calm, professional, and armed with something Democrats hate more than facts, experience. A real business owner. Someone who had to meet payroll, manage workers, and keep a company alive. She explains, very patiently, that yes, in the private sector, if you don't perform, your pay reflects it. If you violate rules, your pay reflects it. If you're on probation, your pay reflects it. Sometimes it's the warning shot before you're fired. And here's the part that's hilarious. This wasn't even controversial. This wasn't some radical theory. This is how millions of Americans live every single day. Salespeople, contractors, real estate agents, supervisors who get demoted. You mess up, you make less. You do better, you earn more. That's not cruelty. That's capitalism. That's the incentive system that built the strongest economy on earth. But watch what Omar does next. When she realizes she's getting schooled, she tries to narrow the argument. Oh no, I meant commission jobs. And they immediately shut that down too. Demotions come with pay cuts. Regular jobs come with pay cuts. Performance matters everywhere except apparently in Congress. This whole exchange exposed the left's real worldview. They don't believe in merit. They don't believe in consequences. They don't believe outcomes should depend on effort. In their fantasy economy, nobody ever loses, nobody ever fails, and taxpayers just keep the money printer running. Meanwhile, the Republican side defended something radical these days: personal responsibility. Barb O'Neal didn't yell. She didn't posture. She just explained reality, and reality absolutely steamrolled ideology. And that's the bigger lesson here. We don't need more career politicians who've never balanced a budget or run a payroll. We need people who understand how work actually works. People who know a paycheck is earned, not guaranteed. Ilhan Omar called accountability strange. Normal Americans call it life.